Welcome to SPL Express as we approach the penultimate weekend in the Singapore Premier League. Lots to discuss, and here to do that we have Rhysh Roshan Rai, who's going to discuss Albirex Niigata winning their 6th SPL crown, as well as the likes of Tampines Rovers and how they approach this final part of the season with AFC Cup action in store. But before that, let's recap what happened over the weekend. Matchweek 25 saw the White Swans seal the SPL title with 2 matches to go. This after beating Tanjong Pagar 3-2. Brunei DPMM ended a 3-game losing streak with victory over the Young Lions. Balestier Khalsa, meanwhile, ran out comfortable 6-2 winners against Geylang International in that race for 4th, while the Lion City Sailors made light work of Hougang United, thrashing them 8-2. So confirmation of your league champions Albirex Niigata on 56 points with 2 games to go. Balestier Khalsa have tightened their grip on 4th place, going 6 clear of Geylang International, while Brunei DPMM leapfrogged Tanjong Pagar into 7th. 4 games coming your way this weekend. Tampines Rovers hosting DPMM on Friday at our Tampines Hub. Also at the same venue on Saturday, Geylang versus Young Lions, while Hougang face Tanjong Pagar. Sunday, Balestier will come up against the newly crowned champions Albirex Niigata. So let's start with that game, Balestier up against Albirex. Roshan, Albirex now clinching the title. What was most impressive about this Albirex side over the whole season for you?
Yeah, so many things were impressive about Albirex Niigata. I think, the consistency that they've shown, the fitness levels, the overall quality in that side, and just the way they were able to, in the run-in, make those changes, squad depth as well, players contributing with goals off the bench and quality performances off the bench. They looked really fresh. They looked very fit in the run-in. We've spoken about the fact that Yoshinaga made those changes to keep his side looking good, and 12 matches unbeaten to go on and clinch a title, including 10 wins in that run of 12. I mean, it's just outstanding consistency when the pressure is really on in that title race, and in the final few weeks of that race, going on and beating Tampines Rovers, not just beating Tampines Rovers, but really hammering them, taking care of business against the Lion City Sailors, your 2 closest title challengers when the pressure was on. Really, really impressive stuff. I mean, we've spoken about Albirex Niigata a lot already in most of our episodes, but really, I mean, they deserve a lot of credit. You deserve all the plaudits coming their way.
One player who deserves a lot of plaudits as well is Hassan Sani. He's become the first player to win 4 league titles with 4 different clubs, and he's 39 this year. Do you see him going on strong for club and country as well?
Yes, I do. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's actually signed a contract extension with Albirex Niigata, so he's going to be around for a while. And why not? He still looks good. He still looks like he's able to contribute. He is still the best local goalkeeper, or the best goalkeeper in the league. So yeah, I mean, as long as he's still maintaining that quality, still maintaining those levels, why not continue? Why not carry on? And he's setting a real example for the younger goalkeepers out there, and not even goalkeepers, but younger players out there. Just how he takes care of himself, the way he treats his body, the way he trains, and that mentality that he has, the ability to keep going on and on. Says a lot about the fact that he's won 4 titles now with 4 different clubs. He's a real leader. He's got all that experience behind him. He's still producing the goods. He's got incredible quality. So it's great to see him still, I think, in the league. And I'm sure Albirex Niigata themselves are very happy that they got him and they made the decision to pick him up from the Lion City Sailors.
Now it'll be interesting to see if Albirex actually take their foot off the pedal here against Balestier. Balestier needing a point to secure 4th place. How do you see Balestier coming into this one?
Yeah, I mean, Albirex Niigata have already secured the title. Publicly, they're saying they still want to go out and play their best in matches and play their best and try and win games. But it wouldn't surprise me to see a little bit of a drop-off in intensity, because that title is done, that pressure is off your shoulders now, and also it might be an opportunity for Yoshinaga to give some of the other players, the fringe players, an opportunity to start these matches, get out there and get some experience and get a feel for the professional level. And it could go Balestier's way in that sense. Of course, Balestier have found it difficult against Albirex Niigata, not just this season, where they've been hammered 6-1 and 6-2, but Albirex have won the last 10 matches against this Balestier Khalsa side, and I think it's been October 2015 was the last time Balestier as a club actually beat Albirex Niigata. 1-0 win on that occasion, with Perisic scoring the goal. So it's been a while for Balestier. This edition of Balestier Khalsa, maybe with Albirex taking their eye off the ball a little bit, having already won the title, it might be an opportunity for them to try and sneak something. Alan Koza, his fitness, whether he's available, is going to be important for Balestier. I think Madhu is still going to be suspended for this one. So yeah, they could have a problem in central defence, and I wonder whether it might be worth for Peter de Roo and with this Balestier Khalsa side to just be a little bit more conservative just for this game in the way that they play in order to try and secure fourth spot as quickly as they can.
So I was going to ask you that because Balestier, they, as you mentioned previously, they've been hammered by Albirex this season. How do they avoid that kind of a scoreline here? Yeah,
I mean, listen, Balestier Khalsa's defense has been an issue all season long. A lot of it is basic errors, individual mistakes, some of it tactical as well with the spaces that open up in terms of how opposition teams can attack that Balestier back line, and they don't transition quick enough or well enough. And we mentioned this in previous weeks about perhaps they're a side who don't really enjoy defending, they enjoy attacking a lot more. But yeah, I think with fourth place so close for them, this is a real opportunity. They've got two very tough games coming up to end the season. And again, go back to Albirex Niigata perhaps taking their eye off this one a little bit. Again, it's a big if. It's an opportunity for Balestier. That's why I wonder whether this might be a game for them to just give their defense a little bit more protection and try and play more on the counter attack. Just hold back a little bit because a point will do it for them. They just need a draw. Not drawn any games this season, Balestier, have they? But a point will be enough for them to secure a fourth spot, which will be a very good achievement under Peter de Roo this season.
Let's talk about Hougang up against Tanjong Pagar. Hougang with a chance to actually... they're still in the race for fifth up against Geylang, but they're playing Tanjong Pagar here.
Yeah.
Do you think they can bounce back after that heavy defeat against the Sailors?
I definitely think they can bounce back. I think we have seen that from Hougang this season under Marco. Remember they had that streak which was like four wins, four games, 4 defeats in a row and then 4 wins in a row again. Then they've lost against the Land City Sailors. They were absolutely taken apart. They were torn apart in that one. And, I think they can be quite good at sort of just saying that was an anomaly. That was a game. Put that aside and focus now on the next challenge. And they have been good against some of the lesser sides in the league, I would say, under Marco. When the fixtures have been in their favour in terms of not playing the big teams, they have looked pretty decent in those matches. So I think they'll look at this as an opportunity to bounce back and try and fight for the fifth spot because it is a position that's available for them. It is something they can go for.
One positive for Hougang in their defeat against the Sailors was Gabriel Quek coming off the bench scoring, and he seemed to have a knack for that this season. What does he offer the Cheetahs here? He
scored 6 goals this season, Gabriel Quek, for them. 5 of those have been from off the bench, so he's definitely an option for Marko Kraljevic to use to come on and change the game or have an impact in the game in that sense. And it looks like it's working for him. I think all players would love to be starting matches and to be playing more minutes anyway, but he's found a role for him so far, and it's something that is really working out for Gabriel Quek. I think it perhaps suits his game, and it's a little bit more stretched in this stage of his career, perhaps where the opposition defenders are getting a little bit more tired, and he comes on, he's got that pace to change the game, and he's got quality to create chances on his own. I mean, his goal against the Sailors was just brilliant to watch, so he'll take that with him along the way.
Another option as well, Shadan was returning from injury. How do you see him fitting into this side under Marco?
It was really good to see Shadan coming back in. He's had a long-term injury and he hasn't had an opportunity with Hougang, made his debut in the last game against the Land City Sailors. I think he still is going to need a little bit more time to really get into the flow of it. You're probably looking at a proper pre-season cup campaign coming up, training in that period before the cup starts and then getting a proper pre-season if he's still at Hougang.
They still have AFC Cup as well.
AFC Cup campaign as well that he can contribute. So there are still things for Hougang to sort of look forward to, and things that could rescue their season, still things to play for. And he will play a part in that. I mean, there's no doubt he's got that brilliant technical quality. He's got a wonderful experience. He will add a lot to that midfield. He will give them a bit more control, but that game fitness, that match fitness is going to be important. He could do a really good job alongside Zulfahmi in central midfield, for example.
Okay, let's move on to the next game. It's Geylang up against Young Lions. Geylang, they go into this game with 2 suspensions. Naufal and Ahmad Shahir. Both suspended after receiving reds in their last game. There's also no Bezakor. Still, do you think they have too much in the tank against the Young Lions?
They should have. I know the squad is depleted somewhat. They don't exactly have the strongest of squads overall across the league. But still, again, anytime I think any of the professional sides are coming up against the Young Lions, there's really no excuse to be losing to them. We know of the difficulties the Young Lions have had this season, and so I still expect Geylang to be picking up the win in this one. They still have players who can make a difference. Iqbal, with those 2 goals, he had a very good game as an individual. He had a very good game, a good outing in that last one. They just perhaps let themselves down really with 2 very silly red cards, unnecessary in those moments, in those situations, but they still should have enough strength here to go on and beat the Young Lions, I believe.
Well, it looks like 4th has run away from them.
Yeah.
Do you think they're good enough for a 5th place finish of the season?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're mathematically still in that run for 4th. If Balestier concede another 6 goals, then that helps them out in terms of the goal difference. They are going to need favours from the other sides facing Balestier, beginning with Albirex this weekend. And then they themselves have got to go on and win their last 2 matches. So they are still in there. I think they'll still believe that there's an opportunity to fight for it. But the minimum now, that target should be looking to try and secure 5th spot.
Well, let's talk about the final game. Tampines up against Brunei DPMM. Tampines not in good form coming to this one, but they have secured 3rd place. They also have that AFC Cup qualifier in about 2 weeks' time or so. How are they going to approach this final stretch of the season?
I think it's important for them to sort of have a bit of a bounce. Having lost 3 games in a row now, having that sort of deflating effect of losing out to that in that title race.
They kind of fizzled out towards the end, didn't they?
They did fizzle out towards the end. I think they got a little bit unfortunate with the timing of some injuries. It started to fade. I think fitness-wise, perhaps a few of the players were starting to struggle a little bit. But I think it's important for them to bounce. Again, just like Hougang, who have got AFC Cup to contend with, Tampines have the same. They've got a qualifier coming up. And they should be able to beat whatever oppositions ahead of them, whether it's Phnom Penh Crown or whether it's Young Elephants. I think Tampines should look at themselves as the favourites going into that and get themselves into the AFC Cup proper. So there are still situations for them to try and sort of, again, make something of the season. Even the league campaign, I think, has been very good. In a 24-game season, it can be the first time since 2017 where they've finished with 50 or more points, their best points tally. Remember when they finished 3rd last year? It was a 28-game season, and they had 50 points from that. So they are in 44 now. 2 games to go. They could match that with fewer matches played. And to me, that says that there has been progress under Gavin Lee, and there's been progress from the Tampines Rovers side.
With the run they're in right now, 3-game losing streak, what would you say if you're Gavin to the team? Because, like we said, they seem to be deflated towards that end.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think obviously title's gone now, right? They know 3rd place is the best that they can do, but from that perspective of wanting to finish off as strong as you can, wanting to get those points tally, and just wanting to put in good performances, because you're coming towards the end of the SPL season. That's the league season, right? You want to finish on a high, and then you go on to different challenges, because you've got Singapore Cup as well to come. I mentioned AFC Cup as well. So those are, again, another 2 competitions for them to sort of really fight for and try to get themselves, after this dip in form, this little bit of that deflation again, try and get themselves moving back up, trying to get that positive momentum going at the club. I mean, if it was just the league season, as we've had in previous times, finishing, then there's not really too much to work for, look forward to, but now there are competitions for their players to actually work towards.
Well, let's remind folks at home what our feature game of the week is. It's Balestier versus Albirex on Sunday. Can Balestier upset the odds? Only one way to find out. Our coverage begins from 5:30 p.m. Well, that's all the time we have for this week's episode. Make sure you tune in to our SPL YouTube page for all the games live this weekend. We'll see you again on the next episode of SPL Express.